G'day, VW here, and how you doing? Today's video is about installing an electric fuel pump in my Turbo Beetle, just because with the size of the motor it requires more fuel than a normal mechanical pump can deliver. So these are the items for the fuel system. Because with the turbo motor we delete the fuel pump. So I've got a fuel pump over there with some extra hoses and hose clamps. I've got a new fuel filter which will go on just to protect the fuel pump. I've then got a fused connection which will connect to the dash. That'll go through that switch, which will then go to this wire that I've made up already. That'll go to earth, and then those two wires will connect onto the fuel pump. Right, so those are all the bits and pieces. I'm going to install that now. Alright, so what I've done is, this is the fuel pump cables that have been wrapped, so call it a loom, and I don't know if you can see down there, but the pipes that come from the brake fluid reservoir, there's actually a hole just there on the side of the fuel tank, and so I've just fed these wires down that same hole, just so I don't have to make a new hole in the vehicle. And that'll take me straight down to underneath the fuel tank. So if you look up there, this is the wire that I've just pulled through. It comes down through where the brake lines and the accelerator cable are. So it uses the same hole. So yeah, that was successful. So I've unraveled the cable now that it's through, and just using these strippers I've stripped the wires, and I'm using these solder joints. Not sure if you know them, but it's really just a plastic tube with a bit of solder in the middle, and you put the two pieces of wire in and heat it up with a heat gun, and it all melts and you get a waterproof seal. So that's what they look like, but they're really fantastic. Makes it so much easier than soldering and heat shrinking and everything else. So just let me get my heat gun. So there, I've pushed the wires in, and I probably should have said my wife's heat gun. So there you'll see both wires have been connected with the waterproof connectors. So I'll just run a bit more insulation tape all the way to the end to clean it up. And that's the fuel pump connected down under the car. I just need to bolt it in now and hook up the hoses. So we're back under the car. You can see here's an old fuel filter that was being used. But you can see the dirt in the bottom of that. So we'll change that for a new fuel filter. And this line is the one that goes, this line here is the one that goes to the back of the car. That's the one from the fuel tank. So we'll put our new filter here, we'll run a line across to our pump on the other side, and then back to this line which goes to the back of the car. So I've threaded through the two fuel hoses. There's the one, and there's the other one up there. It's in the top corner. And if I move you across to this side, you can see it attached here to the fuel pump, and there's the other one just up there which I'll attach to the other side of the fuel pump. Alright, so I've installed the fuel pump now with these two bolts. I've just drilled through the chassis and put, these are M8s 13 sockets. So there's the fuel pump there. The back side's already connected. So I just need to pop this side on. And I'll do up that clamp. Then I can pull this wire back up, and I'll just neaten it up down here, and we finished in the side of the footwell. So what I've done is I've clamped the fuel line from the tank, and I've just split the hose. So this is the pipe. This is the pipe that goes to the back of the vehicle, and right up there, that's the hose from the outlet of the pump, and I've just put an extender on it. So I'm just going to join those two now. Alright, so I've made that join there. So that's to the fuel pump and then back to the back of the car. This is the new fuel filter. When installing fuel filters and fuel pumps, just make sure they've all got a flow in. Let's say in and out. So just make sure that you're putting them the right way around according to the flow. So let's undo the clamp. No leaks so far. Oh, look at the muck already in that fuel filter. Coming across to this side. No leaks. So far so good. So I'm going to hook the fuel pump up to a temporary battery system. So let me just do that now. And turn on. And we're getting pressure. Fantastic. We're at about 5.5 bar, which we can adjust. So that's fantastic. So this is the cable that's come up, and I've just threaded through there underneath the fuel expansion tank lines. Let me just pop it under all of those lines so it's out the way. And I've noticed here's the earth over here. So let me just cut that cable tie, and I'm going to put the ground wire onto that earth over there. So let me do that now. Can you see past my hand?
Yeah. Are you sure it's like earth?
Yeah, because it's touching the body. Oh, it must go underneath that. That's holding the ashtray in.
What screw holding the ashtray in is the earth.
Yeah. No, at all.
Is it tight?
What is this?
Tape.
Oh, because it's broken. So this is the positive that's fused. That'll go to the switch. But this needs ignition on power all the time. So I think which is the second last fuse.
Is it on?
Right, so if you look at the multimeter, there's nothing. If we turn it on,
So ignition.
you can see 11.7 volts. And if you turn the key, we should still have power. You can see obviously it drops to 9 volts just because the battery's and off back to 0. Okay, so this is the switch which I need to connect to my fused power. So I'm going to put the switch about there. So I just need to drill a hole through.
Alright, that's the other switch. I see. That seems a bit. There we go. Do it.
Let's check the size.
Well, those go on the other side, don't they?
Yeah,
There you go.
a bit more. Yeah, just again. Haha, success. Alright, so I'll just go inside and put the lock washer on. Alright, so we've now installed the switch, and just undoing these little connectors. So we can wire up this switch.
And then it should start.
Yeah, it should run through there. So this switch is just a safety switch. So if the car, so you can turn the fuel off. All right, so we've soldered onto a switch. We're just going to put down the heat shrink covering, and we'll hit that with my heat gun, or my wife's heat gun, and we should be done here. So that's the switch installed and the fuel pump wired up. Alright, thanks again for watching. Take care and God bless.
3, 2, 1.
Thanks again for watching. And be sure to like, share, subscribe, and leave me any comments.